In this lesson, I want to talk about why we do the turning at all. Previously, I introduced one and two hand turning, but why we do it is because the one hand turning, for example, you can use this motion to keep enemies away from you. So while you're rotating the weapon like this, you prevent somebody from coming in on you by having it in motion. Now, the two-hand turning, we often use the two-hand turning and the one-hand turning to do transitions between different grips. So, for example, you could go from one-hand turning, again, I don't want to hit the light here, from one-hand turning, two-hand turning to change hands, and then come around and do one-hand turning on the other side, like this. So, in this case, the two-hand turning is a transition to be able to change hands, okay? And although I didn't mention it in the previous lesson, of course, you can also do backward turning. So we have forward turning and we have backward turning. So the same thing, but you reverse the motion. And again, be extremely careful when you're doing this so that you don't hit yourself, because if you hit yourself here, it's going to be in the face. So you got to be extremely careful when you're doing that one. Another thing was I forgot to show from the side. So when we're doing the one-hand turning, this is what it looks like. So you should be almost in an L stance. It's kind of like a semi-L stance position. So you don't have to go all the way into a full L stance, but it's like a semi-L stance where your back foot is turned about 45 degrees, like this, okay? And from this position here, when you're turning, you're basically making figure eights. So down and across, around, and then bring it over onto the other side. So just trying to keep the circle nice and compact, coming around just like this. So that's one hand turning. I'm changing hands. If I want to do the other side, then I'm going to change feet. So as soon as you go to the other hand, now the other foot has to be back. So if I'm turning with left hand, you can see I got my left foot in front. So now I'm coming around this way. And again, you can build up speed later on with practice, but for now, just getting comfortable with the weapon. Here again, I would come around and I would change hands, just like this. And now the two-hand turning, again, I didn't show it from the side, but grabbing underneath, grabbing on top. Grabbing underneath, grabbing on top. This is two-hand turning. Whoops, and again, more concerned about hitting the light than I am anything else, because I'm awfully close to it. Okay, and then we can go the other direction as well. So from here, okay, so that is one hand and two hand turning, and doing it both forward and backwards. So forwards and backwards turning. And then there are all kinds of additional movements and transitions that you can do from there. Maybe I'll create another video of them. I'm probably going to have to do them outside, but you can go very quickly from backward turning to forward turning, and then come back to backward turning, and so on. You can change hands and come around behind the back like this, and right away into backwards turning. So there are all kinds of transition movements that you can do from the one hand and two hand turning. I just don't have the space to show them in here because I'm gonna smack something with this stick. And this is my short long stick that I use. It's not even a full length long stick. Gives you an appreciation of how much space you really need to use a weapon like this. But that's it for this lesson. Until next time.